Hello everyone and welcome to the Procedural Edge Wear Shader 2.0 overview video. So let's begin. On the other side you can see a wall with the two buttons, and if I press left Alt, now I can see my mouse cursor, and if I press open documentation, it will take me to the Google Doc file where I try to describe everything about the shader in detail. But if I forgot something, you can press second button and it will invite you to my Discord server, where you can ask me something and I will try to help you. So let me show you what these demo displays contain. The first one is basically demonstration of how edgeware mask look like. All this happens in real time without baked curvature maps. This stand tells you that beveled edges are required, and as you can see, the left cube that doesn't have beveled edges don't have edgeware effect, and the right one that have beveled edges have it. Here you can see material animation example. So you may need to animate material for a gameplay, so I've created an example of what it might look like. And as you can see, we got no paint, and paint goes back. This shader have lots of different parameters, and I will not explain every single one of them in this video, but you can read about them in the documentation. But for example, there is edge texture spread parameter. It will help you to localize edge texture from the all over the model to just the edges. And scratches and rust, if you don't need them, you can just disable them with the checkbox inside of the material instance. Tray planar mapping allows to skip the process of the UV creation, and this model doesn't have any proper UVs. I just exported it from Blender after I created it. But this mapping is not usual one, it's a single sample tray planar mapping. The difference between usual one is that it uses one sample instead of three, and it's much more performant than the usual one. Right now on your screen you can see shader complexity from the 1.0 version and from the 2.0 version. In 1.0 I used Unreal built-in triplanar mapping function, and there was like a couple of textures and shader complexity already looks bad. But in 2.0 there is 10 plus textures and it much better because I used single sample triplanar mapping from Alex. I put the video link in the description. And you actually don't want to use built-in triplanar function because you can't put it into UV's input in the textures. So you have to remap every single texture. But in 2.0, actually just create one UVs and reuse it in every single texture. I also modified triplanar mapping and made it sticky, so when object moving or rotating it won't remap. But if you don't need this and actually want it to be world aligned, you can disable this in the material settings. And here there's something funny, this white box, and with animation it becomes this green rusty radioactive box. Now let's see what actually can be done with this shader. For the experiment I downloaded this free abandoned and junk car model, and right now I will add it to my scene. Here we go. Then I will go to my procedural edge wear shader from materials, master material. I will create material instance and we'll apply it to the model. Okay, now I need to adjust the parameters inside of the material instance. to get a good result. Okay, what parameters do I need to adjust? I think I need to change color to something like this. Now I think there is a bit too much paint, so let's reduce it. To something like that, I think. Now I don't like how Rust looks. I think it should be a bit maybe darker or even redder. Yeah, something like that. Maybe I should change paint color to something else because I don't really see it. So I got scratches, rust, paint, and all of that in a couple of clicks. Yeah, you need to adjust these parameters, but as you can see that was not that hard. And I think you can get a much more better result uh, yourself. You should try different textures, like here's edgeware texture, and you can try different one. You can create some in Substance Designer. You can download them from internet. This part actually shouldn't have any paint on it. So let's create material instance of the material instance because I want everything besides the paint to be the same. So I applied it here and let's decrease threshold min. Okay, now it looks like almost all of the paint is gone. And I think should be a little bit more of rust. Should be more defined. Yeah, something like that. So now you can see how easy it is to texture an entire model within a couple of minutes with this shader. You can find the link to the shader in the description, and also don't forget to join Discord server. Bye!